Today we're going to talk about the man, the myth, the legend, Gary Vaynerchuk. So if you're like me, you've been following what Gary Vee has been doing over the past at least 10 years, from building up his companies, building up Wine Library, to building up his personal brand, GaryVee, and pretty much everything else in between. And I've been the person who's actually been following him for the last 10, 15 years and really just been able to see some of the things that he's actually done to build his brand up. So today, we're just going to real quick go through the steps that he's actually taken to actually build up his personal brand, especially in beginning stages, and how you guys can actually do the same thing. So step one, he spoke about his industry in a way that stood out. So if you guys remember, when he first started out, he was the wine guy. He had his online YouTube show, Wine Library TV, which he talked about wine in a way that was completely different from everybody else. And that really made him stand out. So if whatever industry that you're in, you need to find a way of making yourself stand out, no matter what it is, no matter who's the other people that's in your industry. Try to find a way of standing out, because that's going to get more eyes on you, since you're not going with the status quo of how everybody else is doing it. The second thing he did was actually build a business. So he took that fame and notoriety from the Wine Library TV when he was on like Conan and The Tonight Show and all those things, and he actually switched that over to actually doing social media marketing and just marketing in general for businesses. So he built up VaynerMedia. By doing this, he had actually allowed himself to kind of understand the industry which he was getting in. Instead of just saying, hey, I built up my personal brand, or I built up this brand over here, let me find out how to actually do it for other people. Because if you don't know it or not, it's easy to build up a brand for yourself, but doing it for other people is where it gets tricky at. So that's what he actually did. All right, so the third thing is he started doing talks all across the country. So since he was building up his personal brand, he started to get hired to do speaking engagements at different conferences, right? And I remember this because I used to watch all of those speaking engagements. Anything that was on YouTube that had Gary Vee beside it, I used to watch. It used to be an hour, 45 minutes, 30 minutes of him pretty much saying the same speech. But the one thing that stood out, the two things that stood out actually, is that he used to ask Q&A, which allowed him to actually get a little bit more context into people's psyche and what they actually wanted to know. And he recorded all of those. He recorded all of those and put them on social media. So that allowed him to build up some credibility in that particular space. So I'm telling you guys, anytime that you're speaking, anytime you're talking, even if it's a podcast, if it's a speaking engagement, if it's you're talking to kids, make sure that's recorded and that you put it out, because that's going to give you more credibility in whatever space that you're in. The fourth thing he did was actually he took a year of just appearing on podcasts of small creators. These were people who were just starting out, people who might have had, 30, 50, 100 listens to their podcast. He decided to get on all these podcasts within a year. So within a year, I felt like he was probably on like 50 podcasts, where he would just bring value, and then he used that as a way to create content for himself. So for you, what you should take away from that is, anytime you're trying to build out your name, you need to try to get on as many platforms as you can. So when people Google you, your name shows up in a lot of places. So whoever has a podcast, hop on it. Whoever has a YouTube series, hop on it. If you know people that just do lives all the time, hop on that. And use that as a way to get your reps up, but also use it as a way to build out content for yourself. All right, the fifth thing, like I said, I'm trying to zoom through this real quick, but the fifth thing is he started a show where he just answered people's questions. And this was the Ask Gary Vee show. So after that year of doing podcasts, he actually just did a show in his office a couple times a week where people would send in questions and he would just answer those questions. And he used that to produce content. And that helped out a lot, because instead of always trying to think of ways of creating more content, it's good to just be able to just answer a question and that's the content. So this is the easiest way of creating content. So this is something that you guys should be doing. If you're not sure what to post, if you're not sure what type of content you should be creating, just answer people's questions. It's the easiest thing that you can do, and it's a thing that always works. And lastly, for Gary Vee, when he was starting out, the thing that he did that actually stood out and actually was able to scale his business quicker was that he started to show the behind the scenes of how he was actually creating and doing all the things that he does. So he started a show called The Daily V, where it was pretty much a daily vlog that he put out 3, 4, 5 times a week, where anytime he had anything going on, from speaking engagements to just dealing with office stuff to having meetings, he recorded all that and then made a long video regarding 10, 15, 20, 30-minute video just about his day to day. And doing that, he was also giving, gems as he was going from meeting to meeting in cabs, on airplanes, wherever he is at, he was doing that. So the reason this is important, reason why you should be doing this is because even though you can talk a good talk, you can talk a good game, and you can, when people ask you questions, you could probably fake an answer. But if you're actually showing people how you're actually doing the things that you do, it's going to have more people gravitate towards you, and more people are going to want to support you. People want to spend money with you, because you're not just preaching it, you're actually in the streets doing the things that you said that you're going to do. So those are the things that actually allow Gary Vee to build up his personal brand in the beginning stages. Maybe, one day soon we might do a video to showcase everything after that. But if you're trying to build up a brand, then follow that strategy for yourself.